He just more or less take it in turns to win.
Yeah, and a lot have met each other, haven't they, during not just this season but previous years as well. But as the betting suggests, Ruth Carr must have a good chance here with the exotic guest. He only ran last Thursday at Nottingham, but he finished off really strongly, beaten 2.5 lengths. The way he finished off, you think the stiffer 6 at Carlisle would be right up his street. He's got winning form on good to soft, even though it was good to firm last week.
Great day for Ruth on Saturday at York. She won the Macmillan ride of their lives aboard her own horse. Dubai Dynamo has been such a stalwart to the stable. She's made such a magnificent effort since January to get herself fit and get a lot of money raised. She raised herself over £30,000 and she rode an absolute peach on him, rode a proper race, sat in about 4th or 5th and produced him with a perfectly timed challenge. It was a great day.
It was a perfectly timed run, wasn't it? Struck the front at the right time, but to raise over 30,000 for just one person is a fantastic achievement. And Dubai Dynamo, he'll be off back to his favourite track, Ripon, won't he, sooner rather than later?
He will, but he's assured a home at Mowbray House for the rest of his life, I'm sure of that. But Ruth did a terrific job, not least in getting him down to 80 before Saturday as well. It was for 0 to 80 horses. Look at that sky mark. And you know, a year ago he was rated something like 92, 93. I know he's 11 years old now. What a wonderful old horse he is, though, and she was so thrilled to ride him.
Yeah, it sounds like a long-term plan in every respect.
Yes, I think it was. Exotic Guest then has been not quite such a long-term plan, but just let's run down his form, Mark. I mean, there's enough on in front of us to suggest he's got a winning chance.
Yeah, just in particular that run last week at Nottingham, third, beaten 2.5 lengths. As I say, finished off really strongly. Stiff 6 should suit him. He's a 3 times winner at Newcastle in the past. Ground doesn't seem to matter to him, and he's slipped to a good mark. He's down to 63. Last win was gained off 66. That was August of last year. And you look, when he's won his races during his career, he's either won between June and August. So this is his time of the year, and Nottingham suggests it could be today.
Princess Peaches would have to have a chance with Adam McNamara £7 off, surely.
Yeah, she's got to prove herself over the trip. She's only ever raced over 7 furlongs or a mile, so she's got to show that she's got the pace to win over 6. Hasn't won it on the turf so far, but she has only had the 7 attempts. She's been placed 4 times. She ran a creditable race at Haydock on the easy side of good that day, beating a couple of lengths, and Adam McNamara taking 7 off. That's going to help.
Yeah, it's a race that's not going to take much winning, to state the obvious, and it just might be the Princess Peaches, and no one can doubt her consistency, even though she seems to be quite difficult to win with. But she's been placed numerous times and represents the Midland Yard of James Bethel. Let's go down 1 or 2 of these. Pix Pinter is another one who tends to earn money, as indeed he's done on latest starts at Musselburgh and here on last 2 starts.
Yeah, string of 3s against his name in recent outings. 4 thirds on his last 4 starts. 7 furlongs at Musselburgh last time out. He's back in trip. That'll probably suit him. In an ideal world, he might want a livelier surface than this, but he's got course form. He's had 1 run at Carlisle, he finished 3rd, so he'll handle the track. I think this trip will suit him. Ground, he hopefully will get away with it, but overall he's 2 from 23, probably tells you what you need to know. Yeah,
and a similar profile, to be fair, to with Keen's Point, although, you know, whether it's true or not, he seems to reserve his best performances for Hamilton Park, but at least here he's got an uphill finish again.
Yeah, so that in that respect it ought to suit him. Ran at Hamilton last time out, was only beaten a neck. Narrowly denied, obviously, that day is £1 higher. I don't think it's about ratings for him. Again, he's had loads of racing. He's only 1 from 25 on turf and 3 from 47 overall, so it's difficult catching him right, but he's got a good draw in 3, and he's another one who's been placed at the track in 1 visit.
Yeah, Spirit of Wedza has not been quite so busy as some of the others so far this season, but his latest run, beaten favourite actually, at Hamilton Park when he finished 3rd, and Keen's Point 2nd that day, Mark.
Yeah, he's only had 3 runs for Julie Camacho, his ex-Mark Johnson, and 2 of his 3 runs for his current yard have been respectable efforts, including at Hamilton last time out. He had the cheek pieces on for the first time. They seem to have the desired effect. He's got a short head, I think, to make up with Keen's Point, so there's very little between the pair. But again, you're looking at overall profile. He hasn't even managed to get his head in front, but the fact he hasn't been with his current yard too long, he deserves a few more chances perhaps for them.
Yeah, Diatomic's not the easiest horses to win with, but to his credit, his one win on turf was gained over this course and distance.
It was, yeah, on ground on the easy side of good, so almost identical conditions, £3 higher than that win, 2 from 27 overall. But you've got to forgive a poor run here last time, course and distance. That was almost too bad to be true, and the handicap has dropped in £3.
Yeah, and Luke Morris bidding for a quick double on the card after winning our maiden race just 30 minutes ago. Mining Gold represents Tim Easterby, third at Redcar last time out over 5 furlongs. Unproven by and large over this longer trip.
Yeah, unproven. Best performances have definitely come over 5 furlongs. I think he's 0 from 3 over 6 furlongs. Draw 10's not great, but bearing in mind we've got the 4 non-runners, it doesn't appear to be quite as bad now. Ground won't be a problem. Finished third at Redcar behind Lawton, who's been quite progressive for Kevin Ryan. So if he backed up that run, she wouldn't be without a chance. She's a 3-year-old getting a weight allowance here, and believe it or not, she's only one of 2 that are not wearing cheek pieces. I think 7 of the 9 got cheek pieces on, which again probably tells you what you need to know.
I thought that was a fair run at Redcar, because even though it was only a lowish grade handicap, it was a competitive race. I
Yeah,
thought.
Well, Lawton's quite progressive in his own grade, isn't he? So she was beating 2 1/4 lengths, and she was only getting £5 from him.
Inner Knowing has had just a handful of runs so far, 5 in all. Only one of them, Mark, on turf.
Yeah, only had 1 run for Carl Burke, used to be with Ross O'Sullivan in Ireland. 1 run for Carl was over 7, that was in a maiden. She was beaten 13 lengths. She makes a handicap debut here. She's led in the past, but that was for previous connections. If she doesn't lead, I don't know what will, because every other pace angle is a non-runner.
Yeah, number 13, Big Time Dancer, if you haven't picked it up. Now wearing colours of yellow with red seams. 3rd run for this gelding. His latest of them actually was over 1.25 miles, and the previous 2 were over half that distance, 6 furlongs. Back to 6 furlongs today, of course.
Back to 6, yeah. 2 keen over 1.25 miles last time out. 3 runs, handicap debut, 55. Cheap pieces on first time, dramatic drop-in trip. You know, you can put 2 and 2 together and get 5 there, because he has been pretty well beaten on all 3 starts.
Yeah, a few bullocks just wandering down to watch the start of this, as they do. They'll probably scatter as these runners come out of the stalls. Just put a little bit of shape to this race, Mark, as regards tactics, do you feel?
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm struggling to find much now, because all the pace, the non-runners, Inner Knowing has led, but that was when she was with Ross O'Sullivan, and she's a maiden filly going into a handicap for the first time, so very much in the dark, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they're loading up reasonably quickly from what we can see. Exotic Guest then is the 100 to 30 favourite to win for Ruth Carr and for Tom Eves. Pix Pinter 9 to 2 and Spirit of Wedza 9 to 2. Let's go up then to Tim Peters for the call for the 3rd race.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, and they are loading now quite quickly for this 3rd race. I was at Nottingham last week when Exotic Guest ran really well behind a very well handicapped winner. I thought the horse would be the one to beat, but there's been opposition against it. Off and racing then for the Molson Coors First Division handicap over 6 furlongs. And as they settle down through the first furlong here, Spirit of Wedza out wide, got away pretty well with the noseband. Also, Big Time Dancer and those colour change, the red sleeves and yellow and red seams, is also showing plenty of speed. In fact, plenty keen enough. 4 lengths clear of Inner Knowing with the red cap in 3rd. Then comes Diatomic in yellow and orange. Mining Gold sits in behind those. With out wide, we have Princess Peaches. Widest of all is Pix Pinter. Then towards the far rail, Keen's Point. And Exotic Guest will have to pass them all under Tom Eves. 3 furlongs to go at the halfway stage. Spirit of Wedza in front by a length and a half. Ridden along is Big Time Dancer in 2nd place. Out to the right, Pix Pinter. Ridden along Princess Peaches. Mining Gold travels well. Also there still is Inner Knowing. And now Exotic Guest coming far right around runners. Heading down towards the final furlong and a half. Spirit of Wedza in front still by 2 or 3 lengths. On that far side, Exotic Guest coming around runners with Mining Gold. They're not closing on the leader at the moment. He's still 2.5 lengths in front. Spirit of Wedza from Exotic Guest. He's now into a clear second, but ground to make up, and Spirit of Wedza is finding more and more in front, and Spirit of Wedza will win finally at the 23rd time of asking under a good confident Joe Doyle. Exotic Guest in behind next with Inner Knowing, and then we had Keen's Point.
Yeah, runaway winner, Spirit of Wedza at 9 to 2 under, as Tim Peters said, a confident ride from Joe Doyle aboard Julie Camacho's gelding, and finally, Mark, and not before time, breaks his duck.
He does, yeah. It was a confident ride. It was certainly a positive ride because he was wide enough draw in stall 7. But he'd made up his mind beforehand. He was going to get him out sharply, get him over to that far rail. He just wondered had he gone hard enough, bearing in mind our first 2 races where the leaders got reeled in. But he sustained a good gallop. Yeah, first win after 23 attempts, but as I mentioned beforehand, he hasn't been with Julie Camacho too long. That's only the 4th start for the current yard, and he's been placed at Carlisle in the past.
Exotic Guest was the one who came out of the pack, but he never got away from the pack. So he headed the chasing pack, but he could never get in a blow at the winner.
No, he couldn't. Draw didn't do him any favours either. He was even wider in stall 12, so he's dropped in and he's slotted in behind horses, but the winner just gets away, and he's never really travelling, is he? He's stone last now. He soon comes under pressure. Once he's pulled out, I thought he might make a real big inroads into the leader, but he's just kept on at the one pace without quickening.
Yeah, the winner definitely showed some slickness here, was bowling early on. Horse in second is the colour change Big Time Dancer, who showed up prominently for quite a way before fading. And on the outside, Pix Pinter is the horse